Hello and welcome to another Top 5 Infinity Unit video for Game Nexus. I'm Stuart. Quick shout out to Kristoph for helping me compile the unit lists for this video. Thank you very much. Today we are doing the Combined Army. It is a very interesting army, and it is primarily the impetus to why we changed the format of these videos to go by sectorials, because the unit compositions of the Combined Army are very different. The different races are good at doing different things very well. They are an army of extremes. So that is primarily why we decided to do this. So today we're going to be looking at the Morats, the Shazvasti, and the Onyx contact force for this video. So, fluff-wise, the Combined Army is a coalition of races brought together by a gigantic alien supercomputer called the Evolved Intelligence. It was created by an extraterrestrial race called the who needed to find out a way to transition from their physical bodies to energy to overcome the inevitable heat death of the universe. And the first computer they built did it and told them that they weren't ready for it, and then it disappeared. So they went back and made another one. And that one they put the minds of their greatest thinkers into its matrix to help it to understand them and empathize with them better so that it wouldn't do it. But it is the very outlook, their worldview on life, the way that they think, do things, and their greed for the answer to this question that prevents them, or prevents the evolved intelligence from finding the answer. But it reasons that it just requires additional computational power. So it set out with its army of robots, converting large quantities of matter into solid state, four-dimensional computing engines to massively increase its processing power, and it's just been doing that ever since. Every time it runs into a new alien race, it asks them to hand over their sum total of all of their knowledge and join it in its search for the answer, or die, or rather be enslaved. So in the lore, the Evolved Intelligence is pitted against the Toha and the humans, who the Toha have been fighting for a good number of years, and they have drawn the humans in to assist them in that battle. So with that in mind, we will get into the first sectorial for the Combined Army, which is the Morat Aggression Force. The Morats are like the hammer of the Combined Army. They emphasize brute strength. They're a militaristic race that prides itself on martial prowess, and they are exemplified by the mechanic of being Morats, which basically combines several rules together to basically make them immune to loss of lieutenant, and it makes it so that they can basically pass guts rolls, and they don't retreat, which makes them very, very reliable. So the first unit that we picked was the RAS Diplomatic Division. It is a combat jump trooper, natural-born warrior, and it has several good loadouts, including eclipse grenades, that basically make it an amazing infiltrating troop, popping on the board from a board edge, and able to deploy a moving wall of smoke. However, it's only Arm 2, which doesn't really seem to justify its decrease in move from 4-4 to 4-2. And it is one of those units that needs to be deployed with a very clear goal and target. because it tends to die quite easily with just a single wound. Our second pick for the Morats is the RAS Strike Infantry. The Yaugat are the only unit in the Morat aggression force with access to any level of multispectral visor. It is a linkable unit with a broad range of loadouts to form a balanced link team, but the Yaugat lack any specialists beyond a hacker, making them a poor choice for objective grabbing needs. I usually like to have at least one forward observer and a medic to have a more balanced link for being able to capture basically any kind of objective I want. The number 3 pick are the Rodak Morat Armed Imposition Detachment. So Mimetism, Super Jump, 4-2 Core Troop, or Core Link, a Bull Troop, 4-2 Fireteam Core Linkable Troop. The Rodak boasts a paramedic and an assault hacker loadout, so it does not have the same disadvantage with the weak fireteam composition as regarding specialists. It also has missile launchers and HMGs, and lots of shotguns, boarding shotguns, to really take advantage of their ability to close distances quite quickly. However, a super jump, and I have found this out personally, can sometimes be a bit of a trap. You will find yourself using it because you've paid points for it, and you will find your troops out in the open, jumping up, not having cover, and getting shot down. So for 19 to 28 points, it's quite an investment to pay for a skill that might actually get your guys killed. They need to be used quite well to justify the super jump. Our number 2 pick is the Shogarat Tempest Regiment. This is Morat's dedicated heavy weapon platform. It's got an auto med kit and a loadout that is basically 2 loadouts, a Feuerbach and an HMG, or an AP HMG, which combined with its high armor and the auto med kit make it a very reliable and very durable heavy weapon platform for your board control. Then number 1 is almost an auto take for Morats. It's Cornet Gazaret. Cornet is the Morat's name character sergeant. He has Strategos level 1, meaning that he basically produces 2 orders. Also, the inclusion of the Frenzy state on him means that he can generate even a 3rd order. And he has no wound incapacitation to make him that much harder to kill. However, he is a predictable LT choice. If you're using the Strategos, you have to declare it. And since he is the only model that you can take with it, you have pretty much just revealed who your lieutenant is. He is survivable, but utilizing him in pretty much the only way that his points even justify it means that you are putting a target on his back. So that is the Morat Aggression Force. So next up we have the Shazvasti Expeditionary Force. So the Shazvasti, their galaxy that their race comes from collided with its neighboring star system, resulting in the almost total obliteration of their race. So when the evolved intelligence approached them, they pretty much jumped right on board. And their whole ethos is to survive. They literally mutated their genome and regularly engage in bioengineering to make themselves adaptable because they don't want their race to die. They tend to act as the opposite of the Morats. as master infiltrators and deceivers. They enter the ranks of their enemy and kill from within. They require much more finesse from a player, but you can be greatly rewarded for your patience. So, like Morats, Shazvasti have a racial characteristic called Shazvasti, which basically allows them, when they die, they become a spawn embryo, which is, it has mimetism. It's a little marker that's just put beside them instead of an unconscious marker. And it basically represents, they have a little clone of themselves that is in their chest, and when they die, it begins to awaken, essentially. And what it means is that as long as that token is there, so as long as the Shazvasti troop has not been removed from play, it can still contest and hold zones of control, and it does not count as a casualty until you remove it from the table, which makes Shazvasti very resilient when they have, their little spawn embryos on top of buildings, and you're unable to shoot at them because they've collapsed. So our first pick for them are actually the Q drones. Now, the Q drones are available to all 3 sectorials, but we felt that they really tended to play best into the Shazvasti's playing style of deception. So this is a total reaction HMG with 360 visor and mimetism for 26 points, and the Shazvasti can take 2 of them. They are an amazing board control piece. You just plop them down, they get that immediate -3 to hit. If they're in cover, it's a -6. They're shooting 4 shots every time something moves, and even when you just want to kill something. They are fantastic. The next unit we picked was the Shazvasti Armed Imposition Detachment Guelos. It is a solid linkable troop with moving cover in the form of nanoscreens and several very good loadouts. They do, however, suffer from a problem of having too little specialists, like we saw with the Morats, only having an assault hacker instead of having like medics or anything like that. The number 3 pick was Shazvasti Korax Hashed. This is another named character, but this time for the Shazvasti. In its seed form, Hashed is a camo token, allowing one to play up to the Shazvasti's deceptive nature. In its developed form, it gets nanoscreen, bumping it up to armor 6 and effectively 2 wounds due to its no wound incapacitation. Its negative is it has only a single loadout with a Spitfire for 34 points and 1.5 SWC. Well, it is awesome. It's not higher on our list just because of its inflexible nature. Our penultimate spot on the Shazvasti list is the Shrouded Shazvasti Pioneer Corps. The Shrouded are highly adapted infiltrators with camouflage and auto medkit. For increased survivability, they have forward observer, making them very good at getting close to the enemy and marking targets up, and especially achieving those classified objectives. But they have no armor, which makes them very weak. The presence of the auto medkit is nice, but if you're being dealt 2 or more wounds, they are pretty much dead. Then the number 1 pick, and this should not come as a surprise to anybody who plays Shazvasti, is the Specular Killer. It is the best impersonator in the game, and it personifies the Shazvasti approach to fighting. It has martial arts 3 with a base close combat of 20 and surprise attack because of its second level of impersonation, which basically allows it to deploy within your deployment zone, or within your opponent's deployment zone, rather, as a marker that needs to be discovered. And then when it exits that state in base contact, it delivers a super effective close combat attack, making it just like it's every player's worst nightmare when a Shazvazdi Speculo killer appears out of nowhere and knifes your lieutenant. For its downside, you can only take 2 of them, and that's lame, you know. But other than that, they are amazing at what they do. So next up, we have the Onyx Contact Force. So the Onyx Contact Force is described as like the Combined Army's elite division. They're the metaphorical and literal tip of the spear. They break through the blockades and get your dudes onto the field. They are like, they're the special forces of Combined Army, and they combine a mix of some Shazvazdi and Samorat units along with some other units to form a really unique synergy, and they're really fun to play because of that. They're also one of the newest sectorials. So our number 5 pick, a really reliable drop troop, the Fraktur drop unit. So it's got a skill called Transmutation, where it's basically changing from its air deploying form to its ground form, effectively making it 2 wounds. And it's Spitfire loadout, 35 points, 1.5 SWC, makes it really awesome for just dropping in and killing things. It has a bit of survivability because of it essentially being 2 wounds. But it does not have any specialists apart from a hacker. And the inclusion of like a forward observer or even a medic would have been better, would have probably brought it up on that list. Number 4, we have the Crap Tracker. One thing you will notice is that these 2 are both available in the starter set, making it a fantastic buy. The Tracker is MSV2 Auto Med Kit, really allowing it to act as board control with its multi-sniper and HMG loadouts. It is just fantastic at killing things. It could benefit from the inclusion of the camo or infiltration, and again, I'm always going to be looking for units that have good specialist loadouts that are going to allow me to achieve objectives and missions. Number 3 on our list is the Overdrawn Batchroid. These are these mechanical constructs that the Evolved Intelligence itself puts on the field of battle. They are TAG level troops, armor and BTS 6, and Tinbot A and D, which bumps his BTS up to 9 with the firewall from Tinbot A. And Tinbot D actually gives him the skill Albedo, which basically makes him a white noise zone, which is going to completely eliminate him being attacked by snipers for the first 2 rounds of the game, which really does make him quite a powerful unit. He is very large, 3 loadouts, all with a whopping 2 SWC. It's got a HMC, which is a hypermagnetic railgun, essentially, for 74 points. 69 points gets you 2 plasma sniper rifles, and 57 points gets you 2 heavy rocket launchers. So these are just amazing board control. The problem is that they are so expensive, even in 300-point lists. That is a third of your SWC allowance being sunk into one piece. Our number 2 pick, and this was a bit of contention between me and Chris, I decided to go with the Umbra Samaritan. The Umbra are one of the races that are yet to have a full treatment by Corvus Belli, but I am confident that they will. They are just an amazing presence on the battlefield, and they're really cool. The Samaritan benefits from having super jump. It has hyperdynamics, making it physique 15 for dodges, kinematica 2, which is going to give it a 4-inch dodge in reactive turn, and Prothean level 4, which is a new, or rather a revamping of an old skill that basically allows it to suck wounds off of other living troops, up to a total of 3. And it has similar levels to martial arts, so level 4 is going to give it 2 attacks. And it has a super high natural close combat, of course, along with no wound incapacitation. But the reason that it's so high on this list is it can form a core link with 4 Rodok, which are a troop that can be taken in this army as well. And that makes it really special because it can basically form the focal point of that unit. It can strengthen it, and it can keep up with them with its super jump, and really just wreak some havoc. Its downside is he is expensive, 40 points. I priced out a conservative Rodok team would be 141 points and 3.5 SWC, which is a lot. That link better pull his weight, basically, if you're going to field it. And it certainly has the potential to be the fulcrum in your army, but that is just a lot of points to sink into one unit. Then number 1, which was also contentious, and for the same reason, I picked the Umbra Lagat, which is the first Umbra unit, and the other one in this sectorial. This it has martial arts 4, forward deployment level 1, which basically means its deployment zone is 16 inches. Kinematica and no wound incapacitation. It is very good at being a lieutenant because of its high survivability and its ability to just move around the table wrecking face. At 40 points, it is not the cheapest or most economical choice for LT, and it does tend to stick out in your army as being a fairly obvious choice, but still an amazing unit, and that's why it was so high on this list. That was our picks for top 5 combined army units. I hope you like it. Please thumbs up our video, subscribe to our channel so that you never miss when we release these videos. Please check out our website and join the conversation down below. Tell me what you think of my picks. I'm sure you guys will either love or hate them. I think that we picked some really good units here, and see you next time. Bye.